Please be sure to go back and watch that creator's post. She talks about how even when you are married to a man, that man's family is his family and your family is your family. If that man ever puts his hands on you, that is still his family and they are going to protect him. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. I've been counseling women and men who have experienced abuse as well as those who have been perpetrators of abuse and other violent crimes. One of the things I wanted to get on here and talk to you all about is about this last creator's post, where again she talks about even when you're married, that man's family is his family and they're always going to protect and defend him first and foremost. It doesn't matter if they think that he's wrong or right. Their first priority is their blood relative, which you are not. And I totally agree with her post. One of the things that I wanted to add on to that is that includes children as well. So, it doesn't matter at the end of the day that, when you are married, or when you have children, that man's family is always going to prioritize his family over everybody else. That includes whether or not he's abusing his children, whether he's neglecting his children, whether he's doing his children wrong somehow. They're always going to first and foremost support him. If he steals from his children, they may actually even help him do it. If his children gets hurt and he doesn't show up, they're still going to support bad behavior. One of the things, again, I've counseled people over many years now who've been traumatized in a number of ways when it comes to this family stuff. And a lot of them, are primarily raised by their mothers. Fathers may be in the picture, but maybe living separately. And a lot of times, God forbid, something happens to your mother, or mother isn't able to come through and care for you, or mother is abusive to you. And one of the first things I always ask about is like, well, what about the rest of the community? What about the rest of the family? Extended family on both sides, right? Your father's family and all this other kind of stuff. And a lot of times what I found is that, when I've had conversations about it, and even when I've researched it, and written about it in my own research study for my dissertation, a lot of times what they will say is, oh, they're nowhere to be found. Or they didn't like my mother. And so if they didn't like my mother, or, if they were more protective of my dad, they did not want to step up and be, a resource or community to me as a child. They acted like I didn't exist. I couldn't get them on the phone, or they would make promises and they would never come through. And so a lot of times his family may look at it as like, it's not my business. I don't want to get involved. Or I don't want to betray him by getting involved and trying to offer a helping hand, even though, there's some things going on over there, whether there's some abuse or some neglect. Mom is struggling with mental illness. Mom is struggling to, get food on the table. Mom is struggling with addiction. The kids are having trouble and she's overwhelmed. We're not going to step in. We're not going to intervene. We're not going to offer any sort of support or helping hand because it's not our business. We're going to support whatever he says. So if he says that mom is this and that and the other, we're just going to follow his lead, or we're not going to go against our own bloodline relative, even when someone else's suffering is the cost of that. And some may even have fathers that are shifty characters, that are kind of scammy, and may want to try and use them later on, use them for money or resources or other types of things. Magically he will recruit his family, and really he probably doesn't even have to recruit, but they will support him in his efforts to, scam family members. They will lie and cover for him, and if he if the father wants to terrorize, if he's, terrorizing, stalking, yelling, making threats and things like that, if he's a dangerous person, a lot of times his family will aid him in assistance with that. So by going to get him out of jail, coming to your house and telling you, hey, you need to stop being so hard on him. You need to drop those charges, and or they will come by and they will threaten you as well. So they may assist in phone calls, surprise visits, reporting back information that can get you hurt or killed, all this other kind of stuff where, they could help him terrorize you, and report back. When I worked in prison and corrections, one of the things that, would happen is inmates would seek me out and they would try to call me, and they know that they're not supposed to do that. And so, that's reportable. And so, of course I would report it because I'm like, I don't want people calling me. They know that's out of line. And so what would happen, and every single time it would work, they would get their mother to do it, and their mother would do it, their mother or their sister or some woman in their family, they would get them to reach out and try to set things up with me under the guise that, we need to have a conversation and all of these other kinds of things. And it's amazing, the amount of, it's amazing that, family will go through any length and get themselves in all kinds of trouble, just to, follow orders, essentially, do what, a man in their family has asked them to do, never mind the fact that it's going to compromise them. And so I'm just making this post, and I want to let you know that this stuff extends beyond the fact that, they'll just look the other way if he lays his hands on you. It also extends to the children, but it also extends to them stalking, to them following you, to them getting aggressive with you, to them paying big money to get him out of jail, to come back out and harm you, them getting up in court and lying for him if need be, because that does happen too, where people will go through any lengths to protect their family member over you, over the children, because that's their blood relative, giving alibis, aiding and abetting, things of that nature, hiding, paying money to leave the country if they've committed a serious offense, all sorts of secrets and things like that, where the family, even if they don't have a great relationship, will come to protect that man. And it's unfortunate, but it happens all the time. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks so much.